Hello, everybody. Today is Sunday, August 4th, 2024. So we had a pretty interesting week last week. There was a continuation to the downside. Throughout the whole week, earnings for some companies weren't the best. But I don't know. I have 13 names that I want to go through and maybe a longer introduction than normal. This is not financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research and due diligence before entering any investment. This content is for educational purposes. So if you get any utility or any use for this, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Other than that, I would like to point out a couple of things. I've seen in X a lot of people talking about the fact that we are getting into a recession and a crash is coming. Other people are saying that we're going to bounce next week and whatnot. I think there is a lot of noise. I think I mentioned that last week as well. What, in my opinion, the way I like to trade, I like to see names or the market itself tell me a story. I say this a lot. So, and what I mean by this is sometimes you have to give it some time to actually provide you with more information or to a more directional trend. I think that the trend that we're seeing now is pretty obvious. Things are going down. And if I want to go long or on anything, I wouldn't have the philosophy or I wouldn't be advising people to go long or to buy the dip right now. I think my suggestion would be just wait and keep an eye on the stocks that you like. Keep an eye on your watch list, create a focus list, and based upon what you're seeing, start making your positions. If you see something that you might think is going to continue going down with momentum, it might be a good idea for you to maybe put a position, or if you want to go long and you think that something is going to move to the upside after a pretty strong sell-off, maybe that's what you can do. But I personally want to give things a little bit more of time. I wasn't trading last week and the week before because I was on vacation. Actually, last week I did take some trades that were pretty good, but the week before I didn't trade. So most of these moves that we have seen in the last 2 weeks, I missed because I was on vacation and I wasn't going to trade while I was on vacation. Anyways, so in my case, I feel like I already missed most of the momentum on the downside. And even though there might be a continuation to the downside, I don't want to trade the choppiness that is going to come with it. I think if we continue going down, we are going to see a lot of choppiness to the downside, and I don't like to trade like that. I like to trade on moves that are more clear or make more sense. Anyways, that is my suggestion. My suggestion is just take some time. Don't rush into entries. Avoid the noise, especially the ones that are telling you buy the dip. It might be too soon to buy the dip. I could be wrong with this for sure, but I personally wanna wait a little bit and start looking for opportunities, because just like we're seeing this pretty, I guess, aggressive sell-off, we're gonna see opportunities to the upside, and there might be still opportunities to the downside. We just have to find them. Anyways, let's start with the names that I want to cover. Amazon is the first one that I want to work on, and what we saw this week was a pretty nice sell-off. I mean, we went down almost 9%. At one point, I think it was like up to 13% down, which is pretty dramatic for Amazon, if you ask me. But then the stock actually kind of slowly came back, and that's what you see on this week, which is the story of this candle itself. This is everything that happened during the day. This gap right here to the bottom is basically filled. So let's erase this. And normally I like to keep these rectangles or these figures right here because I like to show, I guess, the fact that there is a lack of liquidity in these areas, and sooner or later, most of the times, not always, these gaps are gonna fill. This one right here that looked pretty far away from where we are right now. This gap came up on the beginning of the year in February. Well, now we're here in August, and we're basically filling this gap, which is quite interesting. It's something that I like to keep an eye on. So let's remove that. This gap is pretty much gone. Now we have this, which is also telling me, well, there is going to be an opportunity to the upside. When, I'm not sure when, we have this resistance level at 167, which we have to go over and then start going into this area, which still has quite a bit of liquidity. So it might take some time to fill this gap. You have this resistance level as well at 174, 175 almost, and then you have to go over 180. Those are the levels that you have. The MACD and the TSI are pretty bearish, I'm not gonna lie, but also it's the reaction to earnings. The RSI is pretty much oversold. I would give this a couple of days and see how this is going to behave, but there is definitely an opportunity to buy Amazon calls sometime within the next week or two. I wouldn't jump into, I'm not going to jump into this tomorrow or anything like that. I'm just gonna wait and see what else, is gonna happen next week. I think next week we're gonna get, other than earnings, we're gonna get also a lot of news, maybe stuff going in the Middle East. Europe is also a little bit of a mess right now, especially what is going on in England. So geopolitically, we are having a lot of I guess issues and whatnot. We also have elections coming up. There is a lot of craziness going on. So again, give these stocks, give whatever you're trying to get in some time to, I guess, unfold information that you might see on the chart. So that's what I have for Amazon. Again, I like these levels. I like the fact there is going to be an opportunity coming up. When I wouldn't jump into this anytime soon. And if it runs, whatever. There's a lot of names that I can jump on right now, but I want to see these indicators change their trend a little bit and see how things go. If we have to continue going down, you probably are at 155, 156 should be your next level. So we'll see what happens next week. But Amazon looks enticing in a way that now it's going to have some room on the way up. And I like seeing that. Anyways, just be patient and don't jump into trading stuff in a very impulsive way, which is something that we do sometimes. Anyways, next would be ARM. So this was interesting. I think I did trade ARM somewhere around here. Then I left it alone. What I like about this is, and we're right on the 200 EMA. If you ask me if we're going to continue going down, I think we are, to be honest. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the MACD and the TSI still pretty strong to the downside. Earnings were on Wednesday of last week, and this continuation might keep taking you towards another support level, which could be this small gap. Let's mark this. Let's put something on this gap right here, which is pretty far down. Let's just keep an eye on the 200 EMA for now and see if this is actually going to work as support, and see if this bounces from this indicator, goes up to resistance, and see what happens after that. It might just break down and continue going, especially the strength of the stock is telling you that it has a lot of momentum to the downside. You're not oversold yet, you're almost there, but we'll see. I think that this sector still has a little bit more room to continue going down. That's what I have for ARM. And next, I'm gonna go to Bank of America. I was, where was I? I think I was talking about these levels right here when, anyways, it broke, went all the way up. XLF as well had a really nice move. It had it broke a pattern. We're gonna check it at the end of the video, anyways. But then this whole sector started taking kind of like a hit and lost momentum. And sometimes it looks pretty obvious, especially when you're up here, and you can tell that everything is a little bit extended from the RSI to the TSI and the MACD, and even the chart is telling you the same thing. So this move right here was, or this, I guess, trade right here was pretty obvious. When was this? Yeah, I wasn't around. I was already, I was on vacation these days. But anyways, it just continued going down. There was nothing to really support this move right here, especially as far as liquidity goes. And then you had the support level at 40.30. It actually broke it, went under the 35 SMA, and now we're on our way to the 200 EMA. I think we have a little bit more room, and this is your support level, the 200 EMA, and we'll see what happens here. It looks like there is a lot of divergence here already between the MACD line and the signal line, and the same on the TSI. The RSI is already about to be oversold, and I think the next support level is the 200 SMA. Where are they going to meet? Probably somewhere around here on the 3650 or 3660. But that is what I'm using for support for Bank of America. I think you have, there might be an opportunity here. We'll see what happens. But I'm liking this as far as getting here in the next few trading days, maybe by middle of next week, who knows? And then make an assessment again. But sometimes I used to trade Bank of America or the financial sector, because sometimes it's pretty, I guess, it gives you very clear moves, and you can take advantage of it. Anyways, that's what I have for Bank of America. I kind of like the setup for eventually taking long positions or calls, but not until we get to the support level, which is 3650, which is at the same time the same level as the 200 SMA. Now let's go down to Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has been going down pretty strongly, 4%, I guess, in the last 24 hours, which is pretty dramatic. We are under the 200 EMA. That tells you something. Your next support level is 57,000. And the MACD and the TSI are telling me that definitely we have more room to continue going down. There's not a lot of liquidity here, so I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 52 in the next few days. That might give you an opportunity to buy other crypto-related stocks, to buy puts or whatnot. There might be some opportunity. Coinbase, you have CLSK, Mara, Riot. Those might be some opportunities there. Yeah, there are some other names that are also interesting that I actually got out of this list, but I should actually add them up again. Anyways, I think Bitcoin is going to continue selling. Please keep an eye on this support level at 57,000, and then the next support level is 52, which I think we're going to reach 52. That's what I'm thinking. Hopefully I'm wrong, since I have some coins and whatnot, but I think 52 is the actual next level. We're breaking the 200 EMA. We're selling pretty hard today. I didn't check yesterday, but that's what I have on Bitcoin. 57 and 52 are the next, I guess, levels to keep an eye on. Anyways, next I have CHWY. And I did take some puts here. That was on Wednesday. I did sell them the next day, Thursday. And the reason for this is because last week, the only positions that I had last week were Oracle, and then eventually which I sold on Tuesday. And then I bought CHWY, and I sold them the next day. That was nice, or it wasn't nice, but I mean, they were green, and I think I sold them at 25% or so. The reason why I sold was not because I don't think this is going to continue going down. It does have a lot of room to go to fill this gap. The reason why I sold is because I was, I guess, buying on the pattern rather than what on the setup that I like to buy. And so my position should have been somewhere around here. I actually bought some I actually bought calls. Yeah, I bought calls as a lotto because of a meme or something that came out on X. So I bought a couple of calls. You know, they obviously didn't work out. This continued going down. Anyways, I basically didn't buy the setup that I like when I normally buy, but I did buy based upon this pattern right here. And I was like, well, this looks pretty obvious to me that normally this could actually go up, but it was having such a hard time going over resistance. So and the MACD and the TSI were bearish, the RSI was bearish. So I did take some puts, sold them the next day, and I sold them again because of how I like to trade as far as the patterns that I like to see. But I also sold because I didn't want to have any options open going into next week. So I sold that. I think we have room to cover this gap towards 17, and let's put a level right here because this actually looks pretty obvious. Let's go back here. There's where we are, 17, 20, 17, I would say. That's for CHWY. Next name, let's go to CLSK. CLSK, well, let's get rid of this. It was ranging on these levels right here, which let's keep an eye on this. And it broke support. Now we're under the 200 EMA. I'm sorry. I think we are gonna fill these gaps pretty soon, considering that Bitcoin is going, it continues to go down. I think we are gonna see a further sell-off towards 1140 and probably towards 1060, which is the gap fill right here. MACD and TSI are also pointing down towards under the zero line. I don't like this setup per se. I like this kind of stuff, even though this is pretty choppy. But I do think that we're easily gonna get to 1140 next week. I might actually buy some puts tomorrow if Bitcoin continue to sell. So this looks pretty enticing in my opinion to the downside. So yes, we do have room. There's more volume right here. The volume is going up. You have earnings coming on Thursday. So yeah, I think we definitely have, there might be a sell-off into earnings, especially if Bitcoin continue to perform the way it's performing right now. That's what I have for CLSK. And then the next one is, where are we? Let's go down. My next name is ENPH. ENPH, I do see our next level at 95.38, 95.40. You don't want to see this kind of neutral, indecisive, dodgy candle. I do think that we are probably going to continue going down towards 95 rather than a continuation breaking this resistance level, a continuation towards 100 and up. So I'm a little bit bearish right now on ENPH. It moves in a very I guess for the way I like to trade is a little bit nerve wracking for me, the way this moves. But I actually like to what I'm seeing on the MACD and the TSI. The RSI is right under 50 right now. So 95 makes sense to me. Like this support level makes sense to me. We might see a rebound here since this support level is seems to be a little bit stubborn or very strong support level. You don't have a lot of liquidity here, so my take on this is that we're going to continue going down. I don't think that we're going to have a lot of green days in the market next week. But that's just a feeling. I'm not saying this because I have something that is really telling me that other than the trend. But anyways, I do see NVDA going down to 95. Let's go down to where is this guy? HPE. So HPE, I did find a next post. So let's go to my account. Is it on it? Yeah, this is my last post of today, which I am mentioning that I actually mention a pullback on June the 13th, which is back on this. And sorry, I got a little bit stuck on this because I was supposed to put a link on that. I'll put it on the comments on that post. Anyways, so we have this move. And what I was saying here is that things are getting a little bit extended. Normally, what I like to see is this, the MACD line curving towards the signal line. And it actually happened perfectly right on this candle. It got flat right here on the next big candle, which you could actually see the move taking shape. And then on the next day, you had a lot of volume. Then you got into this bouncing on this support level, and then it broke. I think was last week, or yeah, I think it was last week or the week before last week. Anyways, and now you actually feel this gap. Again, another gap that is being filled. This gap came after earnings. You had this nice move to the upside, but then it's completely gone at this point. You are on the, let's get rid of this. You are at the 200 EMA, and definitely still a little bit have more room to the downside. I think we have definitely a few more days of trading to the downside just by looking at the MACD and the TSI. But we'll see. Your support level right now is at 200 EMA. Again, I call this potential downtrend move back in the middle of June. And again, every time I see this kind of setup, I like to actually get my hands on. I did get some puts somewhere, I think somewhere on these candles. They were September puts, and I did sell right here. They took a lot of decay. I did get out green, but again, this move wasn't as, I guess, dramatic as I thought it was going to be. But it did work out. I think I sold on the 24th or 25th, definitely on breaking this level right here. But again, it took a lot of days to actually take shape, and you know, my options took a little decay, and I didn't make as much money as I thought I was going to. But look, this move actually ended up proving my thesis right. Anyways, that's what I have for HP. Right now, your support level is at 200 EMA. Next, what we were all talking about last week, a complete disaster for, well, I have to find it first, for Intel. So, had a pretty bad day, to say the least. 26% down. I did buy on Thursday. No, was it on Thursday? Yes, it was on Thursday. So on Thursday at 12 p.m., I was actually at the gym, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna buy some. I did sell CHWY, and then I was like, you know, I'm gonna buy some puts for Intel. And the reason why I bought them was because the news that they had, and they were about to lay off some of their workforce, about 15,000 employees. That right there was an indicator for me that the executive team or management team knew that things weren't going well, and they had to start making moves to mitigate, I guess, the loss of capital. Anyways, to me, that was enough of a reason. I was like, this is kind of risky. I don't like to trade earnings, but in this situation, I think that Intel is not gonna bring good numbers for earnings. Well, I did buy the puts 1 hour before, around 1 hour before the closing bell. Little that I knew, the next day when I woke up, well, I knew things were pretty bad, but I didn't think it was going to go that bad. Like 27%. I sold at 27% or so. Anyways, my puts were up about 800% or something like that. I sold them right away in the beginning of, as soon as I could, in the beginning of the day. And that was it. Anyways, I don't see Intel coming back strongly anytime soon. It's something that is a name that I'm not sure I'm gonna trade in a while. I do think that we are probably gonna chop around here, and then maybe slowly coming into this resistance level, and we'll see. But nothing that I would like to trade. There's zero liquidity here, which is also interesting. But it's gonna take some time for Intel to recover from this very catastrophic earnings report. It's nothing that hasn't been happening lately. They have a bad report right here. This gap didn't fill. You have something happened here. I don't know what it was. Now you have this gap that got actually filled. But again, I do think that Intel is probably going to continue going down. I think they cancel dividends as well. That's not good. A lot of people are going to get out because what is the point? Or maybe they might keep their stocks just because, well, now they're holding a bag. But anyways, Intel, not good in my opinion. Let's move on to JMIA. What I have in JMIA right now is more of a downtrend. I was talking about JMIA. First off, I mentioned JMIA to the downside around here. It did work out, then it got choppy here. Then when I was looking at JMIA and thinking, you know, this might go up, it actually had some crazy moves. Like this day was like 30%. It went all the way up to 14 or 15 almost, 15. And then it started collapsing again. I did buy some puts right here and sold them somewhere in this candle, I believe. Again, I was DK on those. What happened with these puts is that they were expiring in 2 weeks from the time I bought them. So at the time I sold them, you know, there was a bunch of DK, and anyways, I think I made like $100 on this. But anyways, what I was saying is, and this is way to extend it, and you could see it on what you're seeing on the MACD right here. You could see compared to the two past moves, this was pretty extended. Now, this was a pretty nice move, I'm not gonna lie. But at the end of the day, I knew it was gonna come down. So now we have all these red candles. Your next super level is going to be the 35 SMA. That's going to happen before you get to 9. And then we might see a little rebound. I'm not sure what is going to happen. There is low liquidity here, so I think we have more room to continue going down. The MACD and the TSI, the RSI also, are telling you that the momentum hasn't faded. And I agree with what I'm seeing here. I think 9 is our next stop, and then we can assess if we're going to bounce or not, or if we're going to continue this and turn this super level into resistance. for now, I think I'm continuing being bearish on JMIA. I did have quite a few trades on JMIA on these areas to the downside. I totally missed this one. But anyways, and then I took, as I mentioned, another some put options here. I think for now I'm not going to take any positions on JMIA, but there is definitely opportunity to the downside. There is a lot of names that still have a lot of room to the downside, so I wouldn't be surprised to see JMIA down to 7 within the next week or so, or 2 weeks. But definitely, I think the 35 SMA is the next stop for JMIA. I think there is still more room to the downside. Let's move on to NVDA. So I normally don't like to do any analysis on NVIDIA, and the reason is because how enthusiastic the NVIDIA buyers are, and obviously they have a product that seems like everybody needs. So for that reason, is something that is a little bit difficult to anticipate the next move. However, a couple of weeks back, I mentioned that we're seeing a double top here, and there might be an opportunity to go down to 117 when it did happen. Now we broke this level, we broke that 35 SMA, and now we're right at this gap right here that we had after earnings back on May. We don't have earnings for NVIDIA until September or finish of late August, but there is a good possibility that you're gonna fill this gap. And then, we will see what happens after that. But there is basically no liquidity here. And volume is picking up. MACD and TSI are bearish. The RSI is still under 50. So we'll see what we get next week, what kind of news we get next week. And if you want to trade, I guess, in a cheaper area of NVIDIA, you can buy this NVDA, which is a 2x long, and it works. I do the same with Tesla. So anyways, I'll mention Tesla next, I guess. But yeah, we're bouncing right on this level, which is right at the gap of, let's put a level right here because this was earnings. And we're bouncing right here very nicely at 101, I think. And is it? Yeah. Anyways, keep an eye on the support level. I do think there is a good possibility that we are gonna fill this gap. But again, just be cautious. NVIDIA seems to be very volatile lately, not only to the upside, but also to the downside. But again, I mentioned this back on this double top. It played out the way I was anticipating, and we'll see what happens here. And this is a very crucial level. But your support level, again, is 101. Under that, you're probably going to hit 95, which would be a pretty nice move if you're going short. That's what I have for NVIDIA. And let's go down to Tesla. So I mentioned Tesla here on X. I was saying this is a very nice continuation. We went all the way up to 265. Now we are at crossing the 35 SMA at 207. And right on top of this level right here, which is 205, 206, and right on the 200 EMA. I do think that there is a lot of room to go to 86. It's a big possibility we're gonna go to 186 at least. So we're gonna go back to this level that was pretty stubborn for Tesla for a while. The MACD and the TSI are definitely telling you that we're gonna continue going down. I'm probably gonna short Tesla, but not by buying Tesla puts. I would probably buy TSLA puts. They are cheaper. They're more volatile. It's a 2x ETF. So that is what I'm gonna play here. I think I'm gonna buy puts next week. Again, they are cheaper. They're easier to trade, in my opinion. They're liquid enough to get in and out. So That's what I'm gonna do on Tesla. I'm definitely gonna go short on Tesla. I think Tesla has room to go to 185. I think that would be 186. Yeah, let's say 185, and then we can assess at that point. But we're crossing the 200 EMA. I'm for some reason I'm very certain of those moves, but yeah, that way I'm gonna get in is through TSLL. That's what I have for Tesla, and the last name I have is XLF. So I did mention on was either Wednesday or Thursday video, to Wednesday for sure, that we had a double top here, and look what happened. Now we are on the 35 SMA. We might see a continuation based upon what I'm seeing here. I think actually I might buy some puts if we see a reaction, a negative reaction to that 35 SMA. That's what I have for XLF. I think there's opportunity. There was opportunity on the way up, which I mentioned right here, and this actually worked pretty nicely. And then this happened within the last 2 weeks. You had this double top, pretty obvious. Now we're under the neckline, which is the support level as well. Now it's resistance. And we are playing with a 35 SMA. That's what I have for XLA. That's what I have for this video. Again, be careful and be mindful of your trades. I think that next few weeks, if not longer, are going to be pretty difficult and choppy, and there's going to be all kinds of shit that is going to be recommended that, in my opinion, is mostly noise. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.